hopefully a really interesting video for you today. You know, I've not been 100%, but I'm getting close to 100% in the health department. So what we have, it's actually a very simple video that many people were talking about over the months or years, and that is to compare the pre-64 Model 70 Winchester, which is sort of a classic, iconic rifle, the Model 54, which I actually can't believe we haven't looked at, but it seems to me we somehow missed the Model 54, which was the original Winchester offering to, let's say, offer something like a Mauser bolt-action rifle. Fantastic rifle, as you'll see, Model 54. And then I have a super grade Model 70, recent manufacturer, classic. What a fantastic bargain they are. And then I thought, in fairness, it's best to have a Husqvarna on the table. It's a lightweight model, you know them. It's just always good, or if you can fit it on the table, it's not a bad idea to have a Mauser, because that's kind of like the place where everything started. But before we get going, a lot of people, well, many people wrote me about all kinds of new legislation in countries, and I did my best to read up on who's doing what, but I'm probably going to make a special video, and you know, it looks like a really messed up situation to me out there, and I don't follow the logic of a lot of things that are happening. But the principles of good government are, like, definitely not new. Libraries have been written about good government, so it should be no surprise to anybody how to comprise a good government. And all I can say is, about people's belongings, I think it's safe to say that governments shouldn't take people's belongings away. I think it's a bad idea. And in fact, I think it's one of the features of these totalitarian states, taking people's belongings away. Banking system releases the money to the economy, the people work hard, then they pay tax, they get some kind of disposable income, hopefully, after they pay their debts and interest and mortgages and all the rest of that. Then they buy something, and then they have a few belongings, and then the government takes those away. So, I don't know, just the pure logic of it. And we know the governments tried to take away alcohol. They have different brainstorms all the time. And I'm not faulting anybody, because I think the intentions are probably good, but the outcome isn't in keeping with the intentions. Anyway, I could talk for a long time about that. But yeah, in principle, don't take people's belongings away, and don't freeze their assets, especially of your own citizens. It's inconsistent, I think, with democratic government. People ask me about the guns on a different note, shifting gears, about the guns behind me sometimes. So you'll notice a pump shotgun, and I actually wrote down what it is because I kept mixing it up, but it's an RMB 93 Russian combat shotgun. Easily, that's this one here, easily the most unique pump action shotgun that I've ever seen. I know there are some really interesting shotguns that come out of Sweden and maybe Finland, could be wrong. This shotgun was designed by the Instrument Design Bureau, and this is some kind of unbelievable shotgun. I actually just got it today. So I'm going to try to get that down here, and then, learn more about it myself, because it's extraordinary, and then compare it to some shotguns that we're all familiar with. So RMB 93. Other than that, there's the Sacco Fin Bear, which we reviewed on Patreon. Great bolt action rifle. I wanted to mention also, many people write me about guns that they were looking for and finally found, and we have a super dedicated viewer, Roman, and he finally got a Colt Python, so congratulations on that. I don't usually single people out, but he has exceptional circumstances. So I thought I wouldn't be out of line congratulating him and hoping everything else works out. On to the guns now. So we may as well start with the Model 54, and you'll look at this stock and you'll think, well, that's not a Model 54 stock. And you would be right. This is some kind of custom stock that's actually pretty reasonably well done. It's got the shadow line cheek piece. And I use these terms, and sometimes people write me and ask me, what are you talking about? And I'm sorry about that, but anyway, that's called a shadow line, and it has a Niedner butt plate. This is, was a popular feature to include on a bolt-action rifle. You can tell it's a fairly short stock, and I shouldn't get stuck on this because this isn't the Model 54. This is just the stock that's on the Model 54 that I have around here. This is actually the Model 54, and what caliber is this? It's 270 Winchester center fire, and it's the nickel steel barrel. So this is what everybody wants. This is what would have been in its time, Formula One rifle, especially with the 270. And you can see, if I showed this to you, I should probably put it back in that stock. You would likely mistake it for a Model 70 pre-64. It arguably has a slightly better or more artistic bolt handle, which is a funny thing to say about a bolt handle, but it's probably true. And I like the trigger a lot on the Model 54. It has the look of the pivot of a Mauser. And as you know, I'm a subscriber to simplicity, the least number of parts in any given design. And actually, my experience with Model 54s is that they are as accurate as any of the pre-64 Model 70s I've owned. Whoever did the inletting did a great job. It actually looks pretty good. It has, the island on the back. It's milled into the barrel. That's a big machining operation. And then it has this front sight. This blade is not original. And every time I take it out of the vault, this blade is bent. I think it's made out of copper. So I just tapped it straight with my gunsmithing hammer. But that's the Model 54. I could go into all kinds of details. You can remove the bolt by just pulling the trigger. And I think the safest and best thing to do, safest in terms of best image, is just to place it on the table. That's the bolt face of the 54. And I'll set the rifle itself down now. Here's something that you may not like that's actually quite practical. This is the floor plate assembly, or I guess you would call it a floor plate. It's one piece, very simple. It's a stamping and typical follower, 3-screw retention of the action in the stock. So, I'm sure that they did things to cosmetically improve the 54 to create the Model 70 pre-64, but I actually fundamentally found no flaws that I can see, not in accuracy, not in function. It's got controlled round feet, excellent safety, excellent trigger. Somebody said something about triggers on the 54, but I probably own a few of these, and I must be a lucky collector. I just never noticed any problem. So that's the 54. I think that gives you a fair idea of what's what. And then just because we've got this bolt out, here's the bolt for the pre-64 Model 70. And I'm sure that if you were a machinist or somebody who knows more than I do, you would know that maybe the pre-64 is less expensive to make, I'm assuming, and maybe it's somehow better. I'm not sure how that would be accomplished. I'll move them a little bit so you can see the profile. Again, fantastic claw extractor. No mistakes with either of these bolts. these are going to work just like a Mauser 98. So excellent bolts. And since I'm at it with these bolts, I'm going to take out the bolt from the super grade Winchester. There's the super grade now. And I mean, it has some nice jeweling here and some other small parts happening. But overall, it's essentially the same as the others with a few, I think, manufacturing adjustments, if I'm guessing right. And I'm going to turn them around. If we can focus on the safeties, you'll see that they stuck with that principle. And, you know, again, we made a video not long ago on the Post 64 Model 70. And I stick with everything I said about that rifle. The Post 64 Model 70 is excellent. It's just different. It's a different concept from these, which really are American-made, sporting 98 Mausers. We've done the pre-64, so I don't want to spend a whole bunch of time. There's the action. Very similar to the 54. I should probably snap this out again, and you can see there's the 54, and there's the Model 70. There's really not that much of a change. I'll spin them around. And the reason these magazine boxes aren't falling out all over the place is I just put a little super glue on them just to retain them, because during filming it's hard to control all these parts. Magnificent recoil lug on these. And I told you this is a 270 and the 54. And somebody was asking me, or a few people, what's my favorite caliber in the pre-64s? And maybe I said something in the past, you know, you forget what you say, but if I said 308, I probably have switched to 243. I was shooting this the other day, and it's just kind of, it's a featherweight. As you can tell, the featherweight Model 70 always has the little shoulder in front of the front receiver ring or on the back of the barrel. Excellent rifle. And then here's the super grade, which has to be, without a doubt, the best buy on the market. It's just beautifully made. I guess what I should do is, here's the super grade, and what should we compare it to? Well, let's compare it to the 54. I just don't have enough arms. And I mean, they've done, if they set out to make a copy, the trigger is the original, excellent pre-64. It obviously has some design changes, but those receivers are remarkably the same. Actually, I have no idea. I have to set this down. Actually, I have no idea how they produce the, in particular, the super grade Model 70 for the prices that they are asking. And some of the most amazing bargains, I'll just set it back into the stock, are in these calibers, like 300 WSM, which is what this is. And these were all the rage a few years ago, and everybody wanted a 270 WSM or a 300 WSM. Now everybody's wanting the Creedmoor and so on. I don't know. I think the 300 WSM or the 270 are actually, what a great line of cartridges. And I like the action. I like the stiff, small, robust action. Anyway, that's just me. It's got a cross bolt, which is nice. We looked at the bolts for them all. We looked at the floor plates. Well, no, I didn't show you the floor plate for this. I mean, this is pretty amazing to me. I didn't know that they somehow are making a one-piece assembly again. The pre-64 is 3 pieces. I never agreed with this. Oh, not that anybody cares, but that this is, we've got parts flipping around and with the magazine box falling off every once in a while. And then 3 screws. I always wondered, why didn't they just make it one piece, like the Mauser, this is the Husqvarna, that they were copying. A one-piece assembly has got to make more sense than a three-piece assembly. Anyway, we can just stand them up here. That's easy, and it's not really the right way, but there you can see. So again, the Super Grade, in my opinion, is easily the best buy on the market. Just beautifully made, and steel where it should be steel, and yeah, everything else. Anyway, I don't work for these people. I just have opinions. But and here is the Husqvarna. I think I've shown this to you. No, maybe I didn't. You know, I make videos on Patreon and on the main channel, so I actually lose track of what I do. But the Husqvarna Model 98, this is the lightweight 7x57. I don't think there's a better rifle around, but of course you can't buy this, but you can buy the new version of the Model 70. I don't even know if Husqvarna makes rifles. The last thing I saw by Husqvarna was a chainsaw, so that's a little bit different from a rifle. Anyway, you know, that's a lot of ground to cover, and we looked at the Mauser floor plate. You know how Mausers are assembled and disassembled. Perfect stock for a lightweight rifle. It's just ideal. And 7x57, I wish somebody would start chambering 7x57s again. I mean, it's remarkable cartridge on its own. So, you know, I try to always remember what I get in my head to tell you about. I think we've covered the rifles. We'll talk about that Russian shotgun. I want to have a period of time where I have no fever and clear sailing. Then we're going to get into the mountains. I'll take out that Sako Fin Bear. Up there behind me is a Ruger that I put an RSI stock on. That's actually not the rifle you think it is. That's a Mark II, and it's in 204. That thing shoots like a house on fire, and that 204 Ruger is another cartridge that, well, maybe it's super popular, I don't know, but I don't hear much about it, and what an incredible round, and I like that full-length stock, and I have no accuracy issues. Anyway, as usual, I'm running out of gas here, so thanks very much for joining me, Roman. Again, all the best to you and yours, and to all of you. Take care, and we will see you on the next video.